I'll carry you through Chapter 6, and which is the business of organizational socialization. Now, remember last week we talked about organizational culture. And organizational culture was that system of values that is embedded within an organization, and all organizations have a culture, as we argued then. This chapter is talking about the process by which we learn about the culture of an organization. And it goes on forever through our lives. It just never stops. And just as an example, I'm going to visit Open University in Milton Keynes, England, on 2 weeks from Monday. I have never been to Open University. It's the largest online university in the world. And it's really, it's an honor to have this invitation where I'll give a workshop on film, and then I'm having dinner with the dean and a couple of other people on the Monday night. I just learned of that, so I'm, kind of really excited about it. And the anticipatory stage of socialization that's described in the chapter is something I will experience upon arrival in Milton Keynes, because I'd gone through on a train, but I didn't stop, so I don't know anything about the city. I don't know anything about Open University other than what I've read and what my colleague and a good friend on their faculty has told me about it. So the whole thing of coming into a system new exposes us to a culture that is strange to us and different at least, not any different from any visits that you or I have made to countries outside the United States. It's exactly the same experience. Now tomorrow I leave fairly early in the morning, and I'll arrive in Graz, Austria about 2 p.m. on Saturday afternoon, local time. I've been there many times. This is not a new experience. I know where I'm going to eat, and I'll eat, and it's not the place I mentioned. I'm going to go to I'm going to have pasta. I decided I need a little, and this place is great. For less than 20 euros, you get a nice soothing plate of pasta, and you can have a beer or a wine or whatever it is you like to drink, or a soda. Wonderful staff, and look out over the square, and it's relaxing, right? And of course, I'm totally knackered because I can't sleep on airplanes. And then I'll go on into the school on Monday, been there, done that before, so nothing is new. But the England part is new. So even at my age, 67 and a half or so, I'm going to go through the whole thing. And until you die, you do it. So you've settled into the Anderson School, and when you start out again and you begin to consider a company for a possible job and you talk to recruiters, you start everything that's described in Chapter 6. I'm emphasizing it because I believe, not only believe it's important, I know it's important. So I'm just trying to kind of give you a heads up on it. Now, the chapter starts, and I'm going to put a figure on the how am I going to do that? Well, I'll have to move the computer. I'm going to put a figure on the overhead in a moment, not yet, but I want to introduce organizational socialization. And it says it's a powerful process by which people learn the culture of an organization. It's not that simple, but that is the essence of what's going on in the socialization process. And in quotes is another definition: process by which a new member learns the value system, the norms, and the required behavior patterns of the organization or group the person is entering. So in every class that you came into in the university this semester, you experienced this business of learning what the rules are. Now, did I not? I don't remember what I did on the first day, but I think I pretty much described what we were going to do, and exams and that kind of thing. You came into this room, and likely none of you had ever been in here. Or maybe if you took Anthropology 105, the preceding class, you did come into this room. But you saw all this strange stuff and possibly looked at the monitors and didn't really understand what was going on. And you process all that information, and it can be quite stressful, obviously. Well, within an organization, the organization wants you to learn certain roles that you're going to play as, let's see, I don't know, Matt, are you tape recording this? I hope. We don't have any video. Every organization that you come into will cause you to experience the business of what kind of role does it want you to play. And we learn these roles by a process called a role episode. And I'm trying to position, want that figure, Matt? Go tight. Lee? Okay. Now that's on page 127. Excuse me a moment, there's all kinds of cables here, so I have to make sure I don't tear the whole house down. But first, there are three types of role behaviors that are in bold type on page 127. One is called pivotal. Those are role behaviors over which you have no choice. You must accept them to become a successful member in the organization. And if you do not accept them, then you likely will have to leave the system. Sometimes the organization may accept you as a rebel, but not too often. And we were talking about our Air Force experiences at a different time. In fact, quite a few years difference between 1959 and 2002. But I have a feeling that when I was at Lackland Air Force Base in basic military training, as you were at one point, you and I both learned a pivotal role behavior. Can you name one? Yeah, put your cover on, and that's what we called it. No matter what type of hat, because we had a choice of three of them. But if you went out the door, you had to cover your head. Unless it was in an area where the commander had declared that it was covered, like there are certain places that are open with patios, and the commander could say, it's covered, so you don't have to have your cover on. The one I so vividly remember, and I think I used this as an example with you, is saluting. And did I not say, if it moves, salute it? Hey, I was saluting salamanders because they moved. And I almost did it last night because we have a whole bunch of lizards that are living in certain areas, like in the front porch and so on. It's the same lizard. I just know it is. You may say, how can you tell? Well, I'll catch the bugger and paint its tail, and then I'll know. But it just scoots, and it moved, and I started to salute because I was thinking of ahead to today. Pivotal, right? You must, you must, you must. Then the second set are relevant role behaviors that are desirable and good, but not essential to membership. And these things like your physical appearance and putting in extra work effort and that sort of stuff. Now, this morning, in talking, I got the invitation to have dinner on the 15th with the dean and two other people at Milton Keynes. And apparently, this is a pretty cool restaurant because they sent me the website, and it's all, the secretary sent me the website. So I wanted to know what to wear. I get I have this perception of British managers that are a little bit more formal than we are here in the Southwest. I'm perfectly willing to wear a tie and a jacket and all that. I'll take everything with me, but I asked, is it business casual? And so shall await until pack everything tonight, and I'll get the email when I get to Austria, and I'll find out what I'm supposed to wear. I know what I'm supposed to wear in Graz. This is the way they dress. But I know that only because I've been there so many times and socialized to that particular system. You see the process. Last set of role behaviors are peripheral, and these are neither necessary nor desirable, but allowed. And when we get to Google, it just occurred to me, it's loaded with peripheral role behavior. I mean, they pretty much could do darn near anything they want. I mean, there's a limit on certain stuff, but pretty close. You can wear your jammies if you want on pajama day and so on. Okay. So, how does this all happen? Well, if you look at figure 6.1, you see the left side says role sender, right side says focal person. Take it for a moment that in most of these situations, we are the focal person, and someone, such as your manager or a person who has hired you, my dean, the interaction I'm having with Open University. They're the role sender, going to tell me what time I'm supposed to get picked up and all that type of stuff. The role sender formulates a sent role which includes the pivotal and relevant role demands. That's the second box under role sender. And that stuff, in fact, I'll want to, in talking to those of you who completed the E exercise, many of you commented on this moment, the role episode, and I'll want you to fill it out for us in real time so that we can see it. Then, focal person receives the role, and notice that it says perception of role and desired behavior. So chapter 5 plays a key part plays in this activity of us filtering with our perceptual process what is told to us. Now, this is where you have to take a lot of care. See, I was really young, and perhaps you were when you went in the Air Force. I was, 18, 17 and a half, and I'm listening to everything. Well, I was accustomed to that because my mother made me listen to everything. But I was listening to every damn thing they were saying because I had this peculiar notion that it was important. However, perception can play a part in that. And I recall in basic training at Lackland making a serious mistake. Do they still do gigs? Gig line? Do they still do that? These are like demerits. And if you got, I think, 15, you could get set back in training or some number of them. I don't remember the number. You could, meaning you would have to repeat some of the basic training you had already done, which is kind of mean and nasty stuff. It's really not all that fun. Well, one day my perceptual process must have gone wacko because I went out into the squadron area and I didn't see any sergeants about. So I went to the soft drink machine and I bought a Dr. Pepper. That was the only Dr. Pepper I've ever purchased because it almost made me throw up. But no insult intended to Dr. Pepper aficionados in the room. But the sergeant was there and I didn't know it. And I got whacked. I had my gig card. We had to carry this card or something with us. And you have your name on your uniform, and he says Airman Basic Champoux, and they always said Champoux or Champoux. They never got it right. And I learned quickly not to correct the sergeants, saying, sir, it's a French name, it's Champoux. Anyway, I got gigged because my perceptual process filtered the experience. Well, then you act out the role behavior. Notice it's flowing from left to right, sent role, received role for focal person, now act out the role behavior, and it says compliance or resistance. You pick it. You want to go along with the requirements? That's compliance. You want to fight the system? That's resistance. Just know what the costs are, as we learned when we were in basic training. Then there's a feedback loop that comes over to the role sender, where the role sender is perceptual process operates also and assesses the focal person's behavior. So that's what happened between me and the sergeant. I learned real fast, never, ever even think about going to the soft drink machine until I got my stripe. Then it was okay. So, let's see if you really understand this. So, what I'm going to do, Matt, we're going to give this DVD a shot here. I think Norville was experiencing a role episode. Would you buy that? Now, he is the focal person, that's fairly obvious. Who was the role sender, or plural? Well, the guy, when the doors open, it's the man on the right, on his right, who's reciting everything at high speed. And then the others come up and, throw stuff in his cart, take this to wherever. So this is an example of a person having multiple role senders. Does Norval look confused? Does Norval look stressed? Yeah. I mean, this is comical. This is what are their names? They're the craziest directors in the world. Can't think of it at the moment. Yes, it's right here. It's the Coen brothers. Ethan Coen.